Now, there are many different types of people in this world, okay? Some people are meant to lead, planning, leading, organizing. People that are in business, that are in politics, those are the type of people that make things happen. Even in the body of Christ, you have the pastors, you have the evangelists, you have the people that are meant to lead people. And it takes a certain type of personality type or personality set of skills that allow for people to control and to organize other people. I realized that in my life so far, I could have used or made use of some of those skills, or at least learned them in order to control certain situations and circumstances, especially with my ex girlfriend whose name was Blessing. Okay? Now, I realized if I had been more manipulative, if I had learned how to be more controlling, maybe I could have slept with her on campus. Maybe I could have been more possessive of her while I was her not really boyfriend. I could have been a real boyfriend to her instead of breaking up with her in a way that was very bitter. In a way that didn't make much sense because I realized that we didn't really want to be boyfriend and girlfriend. But if I had been more assertive, then maybe that could have been the case. And I realized that after leaving that particular university and going to a different one and still trying to maintain contact with her, that I could have presented myself in a different light. I could have controlled my the way I looked to her a little bit more. And the funny thing is that she's been growing, academically and career wise, right? Differently from the way I have been. I believe I've been more stagnant. But what I could have done is I could have controlled my communications with her a little bit more. Controlling my profile picture on the internet because mostly I was only communicating with her via the internet. And so I realized that I could have been more manipulative in order to maintain good communications with her and keep myself in a positive light concerning her. And the funny thing is that her name is Blessing, right? So it means the divine favor of God and whatnot. And she was and still is a skinny black girl from Africa. We were both from Nigeria. But I gained a little bit of weight and lost a little bit of weight, but she kind of still remained her same weight, height and weight. Uh, the funny thing is that I would communicate with her and then she'd block me every time I communicate with her, whether it be on Facebook or on LinkedIn. I realized that I didn't have many ways to communicate with her. Almost every avenue of communication has been shut down, you know. Uh, Instagram is really the only way to really find out what's going on with her, and I'm blocked on her Instagram account. There's only her picture, so at least I can see what she looks like. And the funny thing is that I wish I was more controlling of her. That's one of the reasons why I wanna get a dog, right? Now, a pet dog, either a dog or a cat, but most likely a dog, and I want to name it Blessing after my ex girlfriend. Why? Because I could, well, yeah, she couldn't be my bitch, but she's my bitch. If that's probably what that means. And if you say that's misogynistic or how do I say it, disrespectful of women, I just tell you that I could have had more control over her. She could have been mine. If you that's the whole idea. But since she can be mine, she can be mine. If you understand what I mean, that's the reason for wanting to name a dog after my ex girlfriend, Blessing. Now, I'm not the most how do I say it, the most manipulative person. But I guess if I were to be more manipulative, I guess one of my tactics. This is from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Would be honesty. I prefer not to be too deceptive. I prefer to be very direct and honest, and that directness and honesty is what can be one of my power moves. And then, if I were to be manipulative and to be wielding power over others, I'd want to get people on my side, if you understand what I mean. Now, I speak about this ex-girlfriend whose name is Blessing, and I say, why would I want to continue communication with her? Because I realize that for people like her and for other people in my life that have made themselves very difficult to access on the internet, people that I thought would be part of my life that are no longer a part of my life, I realized I'd have to get more internet savvy. I'd have to start learning how to code, if you understand what I mean, so I can access some of these people on the internet, because a lot of these people, including my ex-girlfriend Blessing, they're not accessible unless via the internet, because I don't have any other form of communication with them. I don't have their phone numbers. I don't have their emails. I don't have any other. I don't know where they live. You know. And you also have some of these websites that give you like a dossier on people, but even that information is inaccurate, telling you their phone number, their address, where they live. But even that information is inaccurate. So I have a lot of learning to do when it comes to finding out about people. But really wanting to communicate with an ex-girlfriend. I keep on calling her an ex-girlfriend, but she's not really. She wasn't a real girlfriend. Wanting to communicate with Blessing, is funny, because there are many people named Blessing. Okay. There are many people named Blessing. It's a very common name in Nigeria. So, but the funny thing is that it's a very specific name, Blessing. It's Blessing Olonubi Ojo. So that's a full name. But the first name is just Blessing. So the funny thing about wanting to even communicate with her is that she's my ex-girlfriend, and she's never gonna be my girlfriend. And I had a dream where I was in the backyard of a house that I used to live in, a home I used to live in with my parents and my siblings. And I was in the backyard, and I was like busy like tearing and plucking leaves off the fences. And as I was doing that, there was a voice that was explaining to me the years of suffering that I've gone through because of a girl that I'm expecting, this ex-girlfriend that I'm expecting, that she's gonna she herself is probably gonna get a boyfriend or a husband, and she's gonna get pregnant. And I'm waiting for her to get pregnant. I'm waiting for her to get a boyfriend or a husband, because even though we may or may not be in communication, I will know when she achieves those milestones in her own life. And I'm expecting a certain amount of freedom when she has children of her own, because she's one of those types that looks as if she may want to stay celibate for the rest of her life. And I say, what would that mean for me? And if I name a dog Blessing, what does that mean for her? It means that a blessing is a blessing and not a curse, as per the devil's end game, if you understand what I mean.